Hi everybody, and welcome back to Teachers Talk Money, where I help teachers master their money in order to give back to themselves. I'm really excited for today's video. We are on month 11 of our 12 months to get good with money series. This is a series of bite-sized, teeny tiny steps that you can take each and every month, or faster if you want to get good with money over time, because we know that big changes in our lives don't happen overnight. They happen from taking small steps towards that goal over time. So it is November, my dudes, and we are going to get our 11th goal. Let's recap the past 10 months of our 12 months to get good with money series. In January, you made a budget. In February, you made some savings goals. In March, you separated your savings accounts and considered whether or not you wanted to give automation a shot. In April, you made a plan for your taxes. In May, we learned the general concepts around investing and did some research on our own about the investment options that are available to us. And then in June, we actually made our investing plan. In July, we made a plan to spend less and save more. And in August, we made a plan to earn more money, because you can't do one of those things and ignore the other. In September, we did an exercise to help align our spending with our values. In October, we tried our hand at a no spend challenge, and now it's November. And the goal for this month is to make a plan for the holidays. Obviously, some of this advice is going to be specific to people who celebrate holidays this season, and specifically gift-giving holidays this season. That being said, we are all susceptible to the consumerism and marketing around Black Friday and Cyber Monday that comes along with the holidays. So some of this advice should be applicable to everyone, and some of it may only be applicable to people who celebrate gift-giving holidays. Now, while this doesn't apply to everyone, I have seen firsthand people go into debt to cover gifts for the holidays. And even if you're not going into debt, you may just be stretching yourself way more thin than you need to this season. So I have a quote here from NerdWallet about the ways that this affects people in general. They say that more than half of 2019 holiday shoppers, which was 55%, incurred credit card debt, and a third of those indebted shoppers, 33%, still haven't paid it off. That's almost 40 million Americans who are still carrying holiday shopping debt from last year. This was an article that came out in 2020 about 2019. I am sad to say that I'm not surprised by these numbers whatsoever, because like I said, I have seen it with my own eyes with people in my own life. I don't know about you, but these figures really concern me and they get me really upset and frustrated, but we're going to talk about how to combat that today. Obviously, keeping a budget is the best thing you can do, because having a plan for your money means that you should never be taking on consumer debt for expected expenses. And if you celebrate the holidays, chances are you do it every year. So let's talk about all the steps you need to take to make a game plan for the holidays this year. Now, I want to start by noting that obviously the best way to plan for the holidays, if you spend a lot of money during this time, is year round. You guys know in my budget, I put aside a certain amount of money every single month, because I know that it's going to cost me a lot to get gifts for all of my 5 siblings and my partner and my parents and any friends that I want to get gifts for that year. So for me, this is a year-round plan. Now, you might not have as many people in your life, and congratulations. But for me and a lot of other people who know this is coming up every year and know it's going to be a time of more spending, it's a great idea to set aside a certain amount each month. Now, the question might be, how much do you need to set aside? According to Mint, the average American spent $942 this year on gifts alone, and another $227 on other holiday expenses, which might include like food, decorations, and that kind of stuff. So for me, these figures together make up about an entire paycheck. and I can't just take a whole paycheck every December and spend it on gift expenses. So if you're in a similar boat to me, then saving throughout the year is your best option. If these numbers look like something that might be pretty close to what you spend, here is what your plan might include. You would need to put aside about $97 a month to save up these expenses over the year. This is no small amount for a lot of people. It's really hard to put aside $100 a month for almost anyone. However, it is much more difficult and even impossible to cash flow over $1,000 worth of expenses in 1 month. Now, that's my biggest piece of advice. Obviously, it's already November, the holidays are coming up, so if you haven't been saving year-round, let's talk about what to do for you. Number 1, create your plan for next year now. So that means the advice I just gave you on how much you need to save, take it and put it into your budget starting in January. Now, for this year, the best piece of advice I can give you is to spread out your purchases as much as possible. If you're doing this over time, over the months of November and December, then that's going to give you a little bit more cash flow to use if you're doing it over 2 months instead of 1. So start planning now. The next thing you need to do is be incredibly, deeply honest with yourself and with others about what your expectations are for spending this year. In other words, you kind of need to make a mini budget for the holidays. What is possible for you to spend this year without dipping into your savings and without going into debt? This might mean that you're not able to afford awesome gifts this year, and that sucks. But that being said, every other year, once you've incorporated the saving into your monthly budget, your gifts can be as awesome and expensive as you want them to be. If you get into debt this year because you didn't stick to that budget, you could very well find yourself unable to save for next year and thus just continuing this horrible cycle without an end. So this year is the year it ends. If you get in debt over the holidays, put a pause this year. The gifts aren't going to be as awesome. It's okay. All of your loved ones will forgive you. The next thing, and this is applicable to literally everyone, is to set a clear mindset and clear constraints for the upcoming big sales. If you're somebody who's super tempted by Black Friday or Cyber Monday, you need to get really real with yourself and make a plan for combating the urge to spend on these things. So it's one thing if you want to spend money during these times. If you've saved it up over the year and you have the money, more power to you, totally up to you. But if you often find yourself stretched too thin because of unplanned and unexpected spending just because things were on sale, guess what? You're not doing yourself any favors by buying things on sale. In fact, you are doing yourself harm. Sales are really tricky like this because we can convince ourselves that we're actually saving so much money when in reality we might not have even spent that money if the item wasn't on sale in the first place. So for all of you who do not have the money to spend on these sales this year and are being very honest with yourself and you're aware that this might be a problem for you, I recommend avoiding the sales entirely. This might seem crazy or impossible to you, but I promise you it isn't. I have not bought anything from Black Friday or Cyber Monday for the past 2 years, and I don't plan to this year or in the future. And I was still able to afford the gifts that I wanted for my friends and family, and even find some sales that were independent of these. So it's not impossible to avoid if you are in a place where you can spend money on those sales this year. So wherever you're at this year, your goal this month is to make a plan for the holidays. Even if you've fallen off of budgeting since our first video in January, it is time to get back on the horse because it is so important to budget during this time when there are just a lot of unusual expenses in the year. If you haven't started a budget or you've fallen off of budgeting since our first video, go to the link in the description of this video and get my budget templates. This will help you make a spending plan for November and December this year and hopefully pull that into 2022 as well. Comment below with any questions you have on any of this stuff. I'm happy to help you all. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. All of these things are amazing for helping me grow this channel and reach more teachers. Have an amazing week, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!